Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to another night of Honorbound roll actual live play, whatever you want to call it. We're doing it. This is to show off the Honorbound system that is on Kickstarter right now. There's only 4 days left, which means I'm going to get this recording up tomorrow or the next day, just so people have something to see with it. There are a couple surprises that my players do not know is going to happen in this adventure, which I'm excited to see how it turns out. We also, where we have left off, we are in deep space on a ship that is been fixed to not to explode, so we're good there, although we're still slowly drifting towards the acid rings of planet Charon. The comms have been cut off. There has been an assassination attempt upon Saffron Crux, who is a humanish that these group of players, I don't want to say that they kidnapped them. I don't think that's fair. You're just retrieving them from their partying ways to get back to their family is a good way to structure that narrative. That's what you've been hired to do. And you just save them from being strangled by the first mate, Ithaca, who has revealed that the pilot, the captain of the ship, Klaus, their family has been threatened that if Sapphire Crook gets delivered to Westport, something is going to happen to his family. However, the first mate took it upon themselves to try and assassinate Sapphire, but you guys stop them. And now you have that complication to deal with if you wish to. Also, earlier, Mr. Crystal unknowingly created a huge faux pas by patting the head of a incredibly cute white fluffy bunny mercenary, which is akin to, I don't know, the worst slur you could call one of them, I think. You pet them on the head, ruffled their ears, and they have got dueling rights to call at any point in time at this point. In near the end, Gareth Karr just found out, is keeping with his wildlife ways, found out that there is an animal creature thing loose on the ship called a morb that the merchant Cash was trying to illegally smuggle back into Westport. The only problem with morbs is that they can cause the crew to go mad. And as long as they're kept happy, everyone's gonna be fine. The clues that we've discovered so far is that after the ship had been sabotaged, they'd gone outside. Ludwicka had bravely gone outside and fixed the outside of the ship to realize the ship had been sabotaged. Why has the ship been sabotaged is yet unknown. They did see a ship that was attached to the outside where they found a woven feather necklace that is belongs to an eternal. That's part of their lore that we came up with. And it was found in the cockpit of the shuttle. The shuttle has had been autopiloted to attach onto the ship after it took off. The origin of the shuttle is from a small space station run by criminals. Uh, it's called the Punter's Folly. Is the name of the space station where it came from. Now, amongst your other interviews that you've done, you know that there's an ambassador, and there's a list of folks otherwise that you can inspect as well and talk to. So that is where we at. To kick us off, I would like to begin with I'm going to start with Rachel because you always end up in the corner that's not the first one. So we're going to start with you tonight, and you have just dropped off Ithaca into the drunk tank slash brig. Mr. Crystal is at your shoulder. Can you tell us what your character looks like? Remember, you are playing the philosopher Scintillian. And what is your calling? What is your profession? What do you do?
Uh, well, as you said, I'm a Scintillian, which is like a colony of bacteria that take in like a humanoid form most of the time. There's a collective consciousness among all of them that um, makes it one single humanoid slash colony. I am a pink kind of bacteria. And yeah, so sometimes I do need to like elongate my form as needed or squish it a little bit because all the bacteria can kind of change form as needed. I am a philosopher, which has, in my case, means I have a scientific background, which feels appropriate for bacteria, I guess. Uh, and so thus far, we know that I have been involved in some kind of sketchy research, the details of which to be revealed as the story progresses. Uh, and my calling is that the Wayfinder,
Ah, yes. So
and that means that I'm good at. I don't actually remember what that means, so give me a second.
you're an explorer.
Wayfinder. I am good at. Yes, I want to explore the universe and use the essence to do so. I like to explore.
Perfect. And what are you going to do with your captured Ithaca? Are you just going to throw her in the brig and be done with her, or do you have questions for her? She is holding on to her previously attached thumb that has been broken off by the Mr. Crystal, as um, you have correctly identified and read her the mariner's rights to put her under arrest. And now she is completely responsive to your calling and she will do whatever you say. She knows you've called her dead to rights.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely would ask her some questions and see if she knows anything about the sabotage and the stowaways that apparently are somewhere.
Just,
Are
what?
we doing that right now, or did you want to go through everybody's characters first?
Let's do it right now.
Okay. Uh, so the damage to the ship was very clearly sabotage. Uh, I don't suppose you would know anything about that.
What? No, I would never damage this ship. This is our home.
If it meant not, or the Sapphire Sauron not making it where he needed to make it.
I mean, it's one thing to kill a person for the honor of another, but it's quite another to condemn whole families of people that I don't even know to death. Of course, I wouldn't do that. She seems quite indignant that you'd even accuse her of that, even though you caught her red-handed with her hands around Sapphire's throat. Like she seems to be like, what a crazy toad that would be. Absolutely not.
Still have my line. Like, still a line I will not cross. Understood. Is there some version of ask some more questions and then maybe do some version of is there like empathy? Is that what the site would be into like under like knowing if she's telling the truth or knowing
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you want to do like an empathy check, it'd probably be like panache inquiry, like you're reading someone else's feelings, um, or
would there be a mysticism option that would be good in that scenario?
the thing kind of the microphone went off a little bit. What was that?
Oh, there be a good like mysticism option for trying to read
Oh, sure.
somebody's
Yeah, 100%.
truthfulness. I mean, my panache inquiry might be better anyway, but mysticism. What would it be? Mysticism? Still inquiry, you think?
I think so.
Mysticism. I'm gonna ask a few more questions though, unless I do a roll for every question I ask.
No, no, just kind of give me what you're talking about. Yeah.
Um, you seem so protective of this ship. How do you feel about stowaways on the ship?
Stowaways. We would never allow stowaways on this. This is a luxury liner.
What would
Stowaways
happen
would,
to if you found a stowaway?
yeah, yeah. According to, and she rattles off some like maritime law. It's like if we found some stowaways, we do have a brig, which I am currently in, but we'd hold them in the brig until we could drop them off to the correct authorities. Now, how authorities kind of work in this world is that there isn't really a centralized police station except on planets, right? Otherwise, it's people like you, like Mr. Crystal in particular. He has got an authority, he's got command. So, bounty hunters usually have command or other people that act as authorities. So just hold on to them until basically they get turned in to someone that wants to take in for a bounty.
Um, okay. I Lastly, since you probably know the ship as good as anybody, do
Of course.
you know where a small creature might hide?
He's, she just gives you a weird look like, what? All right, Mr. Crystal, over. You're taking all this in and kind of watching for signs. You see Ludwicka starting to push out with her mystical abilities to start kind of getting a feeling of the empathy of the feelings between each other, between Ithaca and that. Um, Ludwicka, can I have you roll to see if Ithaca is hiding anything from you anymore?
Sure. I'm gonna do the mysticism version then.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. Like you're trying to get some
Mysticism.
sort of mystical connection.
Mhm.
Okay.
This
Uh,
scenario is usually like a 9.
well, this is going to be an opposed roll.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to seeing what my abilities are that I never use my advantages. Okay. I think I had something that would help in that scenario, but I don't. So, do I have any saga points? I don't have any saga points except the one I just earned.
Yeah, you just got that one.
Established that I can use ones I just earned now.
Yeah, we're just
Okay.
gonna make it.
Then
We're gonna
yes, I
make it
can use
easy. Okay, you're gonna use that one.
uh,
Yeah, because hey, good thing you used it. Because she's been damaged. She usually is a lot more influential on that, but she is injured. She is hurt. Um, so you managed to fight through her defenses and make a connection with her, and you kind of start having the empathy and feeling as a Scintillian. You subconsciously start to mimic her appearance as you're in there, and you can feel kind of the feelings of that. You're kind of an empath. Your whole society is a little bit of an empath in this way. And you know for a fact that she cannot hide anything from you at this moment. Mr. Crystal, you see that from over her shoulder as you're watching this. Please describe your character and also maybe what you're wearing. We understand that you have mastered a belt so far.
It's absolutely true. Yeah, so Mr. Crystal is in Iliod, sort of one of a race of sort of mineral people. They tend to be sort of taller and thinner and more lithe. Mr. Crystal is short, broad, heavy, muscular, if there's such a thing for a mineral person. His skin sort of shimmers with muted rainbow colors that change in sort of hard to interpret ways with what you think his emotions must be. He hasn't just mastered a belt. He has found a sash. So he's
Oh,
got just a plain brown leather belt, kind of wide, big silver buckle, and somewhere a black velour sash that is way too small, but is evidently very fashionable among other bipeds. So this is me getting reaching out there to try to connect at that level. I still don't get it. Just don't get it at all. Um, uh, Big, broad, semi-threatening, right? Just this big chunk of a just unit of a being, but actually has very kind eyes, right? Just has this very chill demeanor that tends to actually kind of take the edge off that sort of imposing physical stature. Um, yeah, his sort of role is hero or inquisitor in that sort of guardian, really. My understanding is normally you think like Porthos, Luke Skywalker, those kind of folks. He's leaning more towards um, Don Quixote, right? Like he isn't quite sure what it is that he's doing, but he's out there doing his best to do the right thing as he struggles to understand this world. Um,
And that's just to let new time listeners or watchers understand is that that's more of a result of your upbringing, not because of your species, lineage, or whatever. That's more of your sheltered upbringing that you've had so far.
yep, absolutely, absolutely. So I'm part of the reason that this poor being is injured. I just I rolled way too well and accidentally hurt this being. It seems like there's a good connection with Ludwicka, so I'm gonna start setting up a harmonic and say I didn't understand what you were telling me before. What am I missing about what's happening here?
All right, Ludwicka, you hear the harmonics coming off of Mr. Crystal. Vaguely sounds like words that you can understand from the vibrations that hit you, but you can't quite get their full meaning. Just to let how it works.
So I'm gonna try. What would that really be? I'm trying to connect here too. Um, I don't know that it's really like courting. I don't know that it's bond right under the courting. I don't quite think it's courting. Maybe it's empathy as well. Actually, I'm gonna lean toward inquiry, feel unity, if I could. That mysticism inquiry to try to like get to be one with this person and reconnect after hurting her.
Okay. So for those watching, so we're coming up with relationship um, rules here, which this is going to be the first time we're going to be using here. So Mr. Crystal is reaching out to Ludwicka to reach some common ground. They had a little bit of a misunderstanding.
Or,
A couple of,
or is he reaching out to Ithaca?
Ithaca,
oh, you're reaching out to Ithaca. Oh,
Ithaca,
I thought
because
you were reaching out to Ludwicka.
no,
Oh, whoa, whoa, okay,
no. Oh, we'll be following up with that in a few minutes, actually.
okay,
But Ithaca, she and I had a conversation,
yes,
and I
okay,
misunderstood,
okay,
and I thought she was going a different direction, and she ended up asking where the heck they found someone like me from, which meant I once again didn't understand what was happening in the social situation.
gotcha.
So I'm going to try to reconnect with her.
Oh, okay. So you're going to harmonize with her. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you do your harmonizing. She fully understands you because she is another Iliad, of course. Um, so you ask her what you don't understand about the situation.
Yeah, we talked before and I didn't get it. Help me understand. Like let's connect. Like let's be one here. Like share with me.
Okay. Yes. Do your check. Okay.
Just cranking for the yeah, just
Mhm.
swinging for the bleachers on that one.
Yeah. You got I assume you're not going to spend anything to key. Yep. Okay.
No.
Okay. You uh managed to hit the correct frequency for the harmonizing, and she can harmonize with you. And at this point, she is defeated. Um, she is no longer haughty. She looks at it, and she just in her harmonizing with you. as she's just doing this, realizes that she feels sorry for you. She acted harshly to you, um, and she opens up her wavelength. So then, on a mystical level, as well as harmonizing completely, you manage to share feelings. Okay. Uh, it is feelings of regret. It is a chorus of her being one of her, the only of her kind that she has been around for a very long time. Um, she also understands that you are um, not 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 well isn't the right one, but you're not um, socialized, as it were, and she has great remorse and regret. Um, she shares her love for Captain Klaus, that she would do anything for him, unasked. This is something that she definitely did on her own. He has no knowledge of her actions at all. She requests of you, do not tell Klaus what she did. And she is going to try and make it honor bound too. So, meaning if you can ignore it and just take 2 points of honor damage, or you can take the honor bound.
Yeah, I'll honor her request. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Now, Ludwicka, you were standing there just hearing this. You've never heard a full harmony between two Iliad before. And you seem to just be completely like their eyes are open, but they're not seeing anything right now, which is in a direct contrast of the fast talking merchant Cash, Scintillian, in the hallway with Gareth Karr, I think, who's probably fully clothed at this point, I would guess. So,
I am, but when I put my clothes back on, I had everything except my black velour cummerbund that was part of my tux. I was like, took everything off, and I came back, and I've looked everywhere, and so I have a belt, but it definitely looks off, and it was beautiful, black velour, stretchy cummerbund. Maybe I'll find it again.
yeah, maybe.
Never know.
It's so snug when you wear it across your body, though. It's just like
You're right.
So Cash is there going like, so what do you think? Will you help me out?
Yeah, I mean, I have to help you. Somebody has to help you because if we don't find the stupid morbs, then we're all gonna go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, there's just one. There's just the one, right? Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, okay. Let's go.
Uh, here's the trick, though.
What?
Why would I not, as soon as we get to port, turn you in? It's an extremely dangerous thing you're trying to do.
Okay. Um, okay. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. They're just for research, right? They're not doing anything bad to them. It's just we need to know more about these creatures, and he starts kind of talking very flowery about it, right? So yeah, there's no reason that you would like, there's not like there's a bounty out for me or anything. Like there's no reason that you need to turn me in for anything, okay? So like you don't have to be like that. Let's find the morb first. Okay. Let's do that and then we can just, we'll be good, right? The
Can I
problem
honor
is,
bound? Can I honor bound this guy?
yeah,
Like
what do
people
you want
honor
to do?
bound us. I want to honor bound him.
Okay. What do you want to say or do? How do you want to make it work?
I will help you, and I won't turn you in, but you are honor bound to turn over the morb to authorities when we get to port,
No.
or I turn you in.
Ooh.
The dumb thing. The dumb thing you try to do.
I am okay. That is totally reasonable. He is going to try and fight it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is going to be like what, a panache, like almost a duel. Like you are trying to outflank him almost on this. Or if there's something else that you can think of that was going to make, like, I could see where lore, knowing the information that you know about the Morbs now, using that against him. Because what this is an attack on his honor. And so I'm going to roll to oppose it. If I fail, though, you got me.
Sure. Uh, yeah, like a panache lore,
Yeah.
like a cultural thing. Okay, we'll try that.
Yep. So you're the attacker. You go first.
Yep. Boom.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna get bit so hard by this stupid table. All right.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Yes.
All
You know
right.
what? I'm that saga point to make it a straight up a 17.
Okay. Well, then okay. All right. You have locked him in hard, like airtight, and just his shoulders, just like pull up. Now, when he does that, it triggers something, a memory. Please, I'm going to give you a round to think about this. Okay? We're going to go to the other players. What does Cash have to do with what you think is the death of your parents? And, and why do you think that?
Okay.
Okay, let's go over to now. You've just honor bound him for safe passage.
Yeah. You can say
Okay,
passage. You have to find this thing. And give it
yes,
up.
yep.
Okay.
All right, over to Ludwicka and Mr. Crystal. Okay, you are in the brig. Any further questions you want of Ithaca, you can get them, or you can continue on your investigation. It seems pretty obvious. She has nothing to do or knows anything about the sabotage. Doesn't know anything about any stowaways. Um,
Hey, I have no further questions at this time. We know where to find her.
Have we asked her about the feather, the woven feather piece that we found?
mm-mm. No, you know that it is a from eternal lore, that only Eternals use those.
Well, I was going to ask if, I mean, given she's first mate, she probably knows everyone who's on the ship, right? Is it possible that she saw someone wearing it when they came on board? Right? There's 3 Eternals, and I think we've only talked with one of them.
You haven't talked to any of them.
I haven't talked to any of them. Maybe she knows who's it. Did she maybe see someone wearing something like it? I mean, it's possible there's someone who was on the ship that's been out there as opposed to someone who came on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can ask her,
Yeah,
but
ask if she's seen anyone with anything like it. Yeah.
with anything like it,
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe there's someone inside helping the person on the outside. Yeah.
yeah, Thorn would have had something like that on.
Maybe we should go talk. Yeah. Maybe we should talk to Thorn then.
Okay, where do you want to go talk to Thorn? Where do you think Thorn is?
I would have thought in quarters, but
Yeah.
no one else is bothering to pay
My
attention to
assumption.
the quarters order. So
All
The
right.
one time we don't check is the one time somebody actually is.
So after a quick search, I'll make this easy so it's not weird. He's not in his quarters. Of course he isn't. But you remember someone got injured in the explosion. and they don't have a fully qualified uh, doctor on staff aside from the infirmary equipment itself, which does a great job. Okay. But for anything more serious, they might need someone. So you think to check that he might be in the infirmary,
Okay.
which unbelievable. He is in the infirmary. Now, how does the infirmary look? How space age are we getting? What does your guys' future look like in the ship? I will tell you who's in here. Okay. You have Thorn, who has rose thorns and is actually wearing a woven feather necklace on there. And he seems to be overlooking a Gortu from the ship, the engineer. He's holding on to his stomach area. This Thorn just seems to be checking with different type of equipment. Starting with Rachel, what kind of stuff is in the infirmary?
Once the passengers on this thing are very diverse. I feel like there's like cupboards that are kind of labeled like Scintillian and uh Eternal and Harven because they're gonna have very different anatomies, right? So like
Sure.
if you were to open the Eternal one, there would be a lot of like soil and like fertilizers like might make them a little more healthy. If you were to open the Harven one, I don't really want to think about what you might want to find in there. If they are kind of like space vampires, I don't know. If you were to open the Scintillian one, there might be like kind of like gross things that bacteria might kind of feed on and be
Moldy
strengthened
bread.
by. Um, yeah. So, yeah, I think that's the first thing I think of is like the different categories of cupboards, and maybe they have like clear glass so you can see the moldy bread
Oh,
Scintillian
there we
cupboard.
go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, and Aaron, can you tell me how do you know that the Gortu has been poisoned? And it seems like Thorn is doing the best job that he can.
Oh, um, that's a great question. What do we have a description of what Sprocket looked like?
Yeah, Sprocket looks like most other of the Gortu, like kind of a screaming red colored skin, wearing kind of a looser officer's kind of brown, yeah, pants and shirt. Now, what makes Gortu stand out even more is that they have bone, calcified bone that sticks out of their skin that gives them sometimes a very demonic look, which they're sometimes called demon seed. But he is going to have the case where he's going to have almost a full, like a half skull mask, almost kind of looking.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely tell he's not feeling well. Probably something internal, right? That his red is sort of turning sort of a rusty brown color,
Mm.
not screaming red so much as sort of a sickly rust. And he's probably pretty dehydrated at this point with his tummy bug, because you can see like the skin gets sort of like wrinkly as it pulls back from the bone extrusions. He's just looks sort of sort of dried out, and you can just see the pull in his skin as it kind of browns up on him.
Ugh, nasty. As you both walk into the infirmary, this is the sight you see as Thorn helping, um, not necessarily bleeding, but is mixing some sort of poultice put together. As Thorn looks up, doesn't stand stands a little bit shorter. He's like, "Oh, hello. Are you injured too?"
No, no, I'm glad to see that you're helping our friend Sprocket, though. I, is he okay?
Uh, yeah, yes, he. I don't know. It's like yesterday. Caught some sort of poisons. I'm not even quite sure. He motions over to some sort of like identifier gear. I can't think of the right word. That's that like runs tests for poisons and whatnot. I was like, yeah, I caught something yesterday. Um, boy, and it just seemed like really bad timing. That's for sure.
What were you doing when you first started to feel sick? Or what were you doing, I guess, before you started feeling sick?
I was like, well, I think it was just something I probably ate. I just ate at the galley, and then went back up to the bridge, and that's when I started not feeling good.
Oh,
Prepared the food in the galley.
What's that?
Who prepares the food in the galley?
Well, we just serve ourselves for the most part. I'm just part of the crew. I don't get the niceness of everything else. Normally, though, Ithaca would be the one that would make sure that if there's food out there, she would help make sure it's there. But I'm just an officer, so I just make my own.
So there's
hmm.
no way somebody would single out a particular individual's meal over other people. So like if either everybody gets sick or nobody gets sick.
Well, I mean, we're as crew, we get our own part. If you're part of the passengers, that one we wouldn't really be able to tell if someone got sick. But no, I tend to eat from my own stuff.
Hmm. Well, that conversation's going on. I'll comment. You said Thorn is wearing one of these sort of woven feather pieces.
Yep,
I'll
every once in a while he seems to use it to pass it over Sprocket's body.
it, Doctor Thorn. Wait, may I ask what that is? That thing that you have there?
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course, yeah. This is one of our holy um items. So from where we originally came from, there is a rot that is pulling away at the roots on there, but at the top, it's still beautiful, and we still have um, these beautiful birds that still help us propagate, eat the seeds, then spread them through the universe. And this is our way of, as a peaceful message, by honoring these birds that we have on here.
Oh, so it would be odd to find one and then I don't know, is it possible that I have the one that was found? Have we Ludwig, you're the one who found it, right? Yeah, have you seen one that looks like this?
Found it because he was the one who went out to the.
Oh, okay.
Do you
Yeah,
still have it, or did you give it to us, Gareth?
I would have given it over probably.
yeah. Have you seen one that looks like this? And why would someone have left it behind?
Oh, well, yeah, I don't know. There's lots of reasons that people might leave items behind, or there's no significance to it that I know of.
I'm gonna. What's the skill that's the equivalent of bullshit sniffer?
Sure. Probably inquiry.
Mm, Hmm. I'm gonna try. Wits are not my strong suit, but yeah, that's probably the closest, right? Wits inquiry. I guess I'm trying to be smart here. No, 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 no. Mysticism. I'm trying to feel if there's a lie, if there's an untruth being spoken here. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep. So
go for
inquiry
it.
mysticism.
Yep, love it. You're calling upon the weave of the universe to reveal the truth to you. Whoa, all right, fine.
Yeah, I'll throw a saga point on that one.
Okay, yeah,
Oh, I probably didn't need to. Okay.
yeah,
That's
you
fine.
crushed me. Yeah, these are regular people. They're like, this is not something crazy that you're aware of. And I'm sorry, what were you asking? You were trying to see, oh, if he was telling the truth,
Yeah.
if he's
Yeah, it sounds
bullshitting
like
you or
he
not.
might be hedging. Yeah. So is he maybe only telling me part of the truth, maybe knows something that he's not revealing or
Okay. You, um, everything he has told you so far is absolutely true. However, you do feel that he is hiding something, but you're not quite sure what he is hiding.
Mm. Oh boy. I think now would be a bad time to lie to me and put on my full on physical glower, take a step forward, and I think you should tell me before all the things that are going wrong on this ship go wrong.
Uh,
In
Ludwicka,
all,
you
yeah, this was found on a ship attached to the bottom of this ship, and we think that something's about to go wrong.
Ludwicka, do you step in at this moment or anything as you see your companion?
Look more than so. No, I'm probably kind of doing my own thing. I'm listening. I don't know that I'm necessarily gonna step away from what I'm doing.
Okay.
I know what's happening because what I envisioned I was doing is that if you said there is like a spot to identify, like maybe a microscope and things like that to look more closely at the poison, I imagined I was going to do some sciency things to see if I recognize the poison, stuff like that.
100%. All right, love it. Okay. I want you to do that check first. Yes, I want Ludwika's check first. As you're hearing like Mr. Crystal start to question and start to loom and get closer, as you're starting to focus down on, wait, what is this stuff? What are you doing exactly with the scientific equipment?
I was imagining a wit's lore to do science. Like,
Yes,
do I recognize this poison? Um, I mean, that's enough information, but also I think I am specifically curious if I recognize it, if it's like a poison that either A comes from a specific place, slash is associated with like a certain culture or something. B, does it specifically affect like Gortu? Because he's like the only Gortu on the planet. So somebody could put something in the food that would only affect the one person they need to affect. Anyway, that's kind of specifically what I'm looking at. And anything else I happen to learn in the moment.
smart.
Oh
Oh,
my gosh. I got
well,
7 dice. And I should have gotten higher.
okay. All right.
So excited to use my 7 dice skill.
Okay. You have unlocked something that I've been waiting for this adventure. All right. Two things become very apparent to you right away. Is that you needed a 9 and you got it. Um, is the
Does okay, here's a question. I know the skill is a 9, but something I'm wondering if I get higher, do I get more information?
not for what I have. No, not in this particular case. Sometimes yes, but I'll let you know about that. Okay. Um, you are as Mr. Crystal is starting to loom towards Thorn. You're checking over the data of the poison. You're like, something from what Thorn just said made clicked with something that you remember that you do research on, and you're like, wait a minute. There is a certain type of kind of molasses in a root that comes from the planet that Eternals are from that are particularly poisonous to Gortu. And you're sure, with your excellent rolling, is that you think that all of the food has probably been compromised. But you're exactly right. It only affects Gortus. That was amazing. Now, as you are doing this research on the scientific equipment, you hear from the engineer's room, just you, in the back of your head, you hear a voice that you're like, what? It sounds like Gunner from the very first adventure that you had. the old Caxian smuggler. And it just says, kid, if you're near something, hold on tight. It's going to get bumpy. And it gives you a disorientating wave as you're not quite sure if this is happening now or if this is from the future or in the past. You get completely disorientated by what's happening seconds before something shifts. Either you moved or the rest of the vessel, but everyone feels like they moved out of their skin by like 2 centimeters. Almost an imperceptible feeling, but something has shifted. All of the detection units arrays on the ship go blank for a millisecond before blazing back open channels of a massive form now detected far, far from the horizon on the pure outer ceilings of known space that you can reach by interstellar travel, completely blotting out one of the binary suns of this universe, putting everything into a red haze. What does this mean to the overall vision that you've had with everyone else? Mr. Crystal, you feel the slight hand of Ludwicka touch your back as she communicates the information. As you move forward, you now know that the poison was used can only be found on the planet of that. All right, at that point, we're going to switch over to Gareth Karr, who's been waiting from bated breath as you just saw the almost just like the falling of shoulders of Cash as you've got him dead to rights. He's like, okay, that's fine. How do you know that he was somehow involved?
I never knew my parents, but I did a little research and found out that they were scientists. And one of the things they worked on was Harven DNA and what makes it up. And I found out they were killed. I'm still not exactly sure why, but it has something to do with DNA and DNA splicing. And I knew that Scintillians were involved. And when Ludwicka showed up, I was like, well, this is it. Like, she is definitely, like, she's got to be part of this, right? And she was involved with the DNA splicing with the razor wings, and it was all sort of making sense. But the longer that we were working together, the more I just didn't get that right feeling. She's too earnest. She's too smart. Like, maybe she was involved with some unethical business, but I didn't think it had anything to do with me or with Harven necessarily. And when Cash he had this complete like line of answer for everything. He was a fast talker, and he was just like, no, I got this. We can work something out. Blah blah blah. He was, and as soon as he it changed, and he admitted, like when I bested him with our battle of wits or honor, and I could see like this change in him when the bullshit wasn't there anymore. And I could it just makes sense. Another guy that definitely is trying to use another species to do something unethical with it, but someone who not as smart. He brought a morb on board a ship, which is a horrible idea, and wanted to do everything to save his own ass to get out of it. This it seems right. Like this is the kind of guy, and right now it's still more of a feeling, but like all my checklist of what I'm looking for, he's hitting every single one right now.
As this realization washes over you, he turns his back to you. He's like, all right, well, I guess I'll check down this part of the hallway, okay? And he starts heading back towards storage.
But right before I figured this out, I did say that I would let him get safely to the next port. So, I don't think he's going anywhere. Like, I don't think he's going to be able to leave the ship. And I think I have bigger fish to fry at this exact moment. But I want to get to know this fellow a little bit better as we go along. And maybe Ludwicka could help me on some sort of level, help me figure out more about this guy and the kind of science he was doing for sure. Because I really have just mostly a hunch right now. So I'm willing to let him hope. He's honor-bound to me to help me find this morb. So I'm going to just rely on that. And if he dishonors this, he'll feel the wrath.
Perfect. So where are you going to go? What are you going to do?
Well, I really think I should check back in with the group and find out where they are. So I'd probably call Ludwicka. Where are you guys at now? I have some new information. Ludwicka, come in.
Infirmary.
You're in the infirmary. Okay, great. I'm just going to head there.
Okay. Mr. Crystal, make your roll. Now that you know what you know, hand it off from the science information from Ludwicka.
I'll spend a saga point.
Spend one.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, you got him. And you said you were doing this through mysticism to try and reaching out to peer through it, right?
No, this one I was just straight up intimidate. Just
Oh,
he knows something. He's hiding it. He's probably the inside guy. It's time for him to talk. Yeah.
okay. So, all right, you just physically intimidate him. I assume you lay hands on him. Yeah.
I'm shaking the feather piece that we found in his face, needing to know what he knows. It's
Okay.
time to talk before someone gets hurt.
As he before someone gets hurt, and he's like, look, hey, look, you don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't. It's not mine. I have mine. Yes, it's probably eternal. Oh God, you gotta believe me. I didn't poison anyone. Look, look. Um, okay, look. I'll share the bounty. Okay, I'll share the bounty. Okay. I don't. I don't. Just don't hurt me. Okay. I'm just trying to help these guys out. There's a merchant on board. I've been tracking him for like I don't know, for like a year or so. But there's a merchant on board. I think he is smuggling. Well, I know he's smuggling illegal animals. Okay, I think I finally caught up to him. As soon as we get to port, his ass is going to jail. I finally got him. Um, like, look, I am a zoologist. I am, and I was a part of a scientific group. Went missing, and I finally got him tracked down, and he's going to pay for what he's done. And Gareth Karr, you catch the tail end of that confession as you walk into the infirmary. As you're like, Oh, bet I know who that is.
Yeah. Uh, uh, Thorn, is that right?
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
A guy's this guy in the up and up. Can we trust him?
I think he's telling the truth now.
You're looking for cash.
Oh, yeah. Is that the name he's going under now? Yeah.
What name do you know it by?
I mean, I don't even know what his real name is. He acts as like he goes by different buyer names. You know, as far as I know, Cash might be his real name.
Was there a name that you knew him by previously, though?
Uh, yeah, this Dr. Burner.
Burner. Uh, yeah, he definitely smuggled it on a morb, and it's definitely loose on the ship. And so,
He's got a
uh,
morb.
yeah, well, he had one.
Okay. We get as soon as he hears that, he just turns all business. He is no longer afraid of the super intimidating Mr. Crystal, as his fear has been replaced by something else.
Mhm.
As he's just like, okay, they like isolated places, but also places where they can be found to have joy or whatever. Have Has anyone been to like the entertainment pods? That'll probably be something that they can be. They'll stay away from the infirmary. Um, as
Is
once,
is there a way we can lure it to the entertainment pods? Like if we open one up and like crank tunes that it likes, or something.
yeah, yes, that would work. Someone like having a good time and the entertainment pod would be fantastic. Be drawn to it. As once he mentions the entertainment pod, Mr. Crystal, you realize like, oh, I did step on something, but I didn't think of it like at all when I was there. There was just like a little smushy spot. You're just like, oh, well, I just got to clean up here. That's all.
It happens sometimes. Yeah.
It happens. Did you step in it?
It maybe.
Thorn is like, okay, he turns to give Sprocket a sedative, who is the only engineer on board, aside from Ludwicka, really. Yes.
Okay. Can I examine the sedative? Seems to be legit and not behind the poisoning, but I want to make sure it's not further poison.
Sure. I'm just gonna go off of, you don't have to make a check on this one, just based on your background in sciencey stuff. Yeah, it looks like the real deal. Looks good. All
Uh,
right. So
Thorn, is this something that you can do? Do you need our help with this? Because we have a few other uh, spanners in the
Irons in the fire.
um,
nav unit.
um,
Um,
well, I probably need at least one other person. Like I can try and help lure it there, but then we need to be able to capture it. Those things are slippery as hell. Um, so I'd love some help, but if not, that's fine.
uh, real quick,
Yeah.
then. Uh, I'll tell them I'm not going to mention anything about Cash being linked to my parents, but everything else that I know about him smuggling shit on, all of that. Um, uh, the feather thing, not thorns. Okay, so
He
we have
doesn't seem to know anything about it. Yeah.
We have
I think we
two
need to
other.
go talk to our honeymoon.
Yeah. So if you both want to go do that, I'll help try to catch a morb. Unless you have a better idea. Okay.
Yeah, that works.
Is that my? Never mind. I'm gonna head towards the entertainment pods with
All right.
Thorn.
All right, let's try and capture a morb first. That seems like the thing to do first. All right. As you're walking down side by side from the hallway, Thorn's talking about what he knows of morbs, and is like, "Hey, it's something we can do. Well, we're gonna need something to put it in to be able to get it. There's probably a containment unit. I think probably in storage. Like if he had it, so we can maybe just put it back in there, right? But we're gonna need something to carry it in to get it there."
Sure. Is it possible that if we just put it in a pod and just like lock the pod? I guess we'll need something to get him out of the pod and off the ship eventually too. But
That- I mean, that could probably work. I suppose we just had like good vibes still happening on the entertainment until we got there.
yeah, we probably should, right? Before we got to keep it happy the whole time. If we can just get it in a pod and keep it happy till we get to a safe port, then we should be all right, right?
Yeah, that'd probably work. I guess I don't know why it wouldn't. I mean, as far as like, because how they're transported, they usually have like a neural dampener containment unit, so they can't reach out to anything. So we could just put it back into there. But if we don't have one of those handy, yeah, we can probably just put it into the entertainment as long as like the feed doesn't cut out or if it gets upset
Uh,
about anything, should be fine.
I'll run to storage. Maybe the thing that it was traveling in originally that he broke out of is there, like a unit that has one of these dampeners. You go to the determinant pods and like get one ready to go and tune in whatever kind of entertainment that it wants to hear, I guess. And I'll hit storage and then I'll hit entertainment.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So yeah, you run over to storage. Yep, and the thing that had the slime on the outside of it, that's got to be it, right?
Okay. Do I see cash?
Yeah. Actually, as you're running down there, you see Cash as he's kind of like, you see it?
We're
Hey,
gonna lure it. Do you want to come help? You should.
well, yeah. Okay. You know where it's at? Yeah. 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 Yeah.
We know where to lure it to. You bet.
Oh,
Come
okay.
with me.
Great. 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 He goes into to grab the thing. It's on like a little hover dolly. And it's probably about, I don't know, 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet with a flip lid on it.
Sure.
But yeah, it's like this kind of white styrofoam-ish ceramic sort of thing. And he puts it on the hover dolly and he has head on over there. As he comes around the corner and he sees Thorn. And he's just like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were here." All right. And he turns around to leave.
Nope. He knows. I know.
No, no. It's wait, you just telling everyone now? Come on now.
He already
Oh,
knew, pal.
we have a deal. We have a deal here. Thorn goes over to punch him.
I'll get in the way.
Okay. I am the aggressor. Thorn is not a super physically gifted person, but there's Cash, so we're gonna try and take a swing. I got a 6.
I'm just gonna do a dual vigor, right?
Yeah.
Got
Okay.
it.
Now, what you can do is that you can do damage back to him if you want to, just based on the difference. So you can do 2 damage to him if you want to,
I just
or you
try to
can.
subdual damage. You know what I mean? Like enough,
Yeah.
knock him back, but not try to hurt him.
All right. As he's getting more upset, and he's like, "This is
I know.
you." He has ruined lives with his awfulness, and you start to hear a lilt coming from somewhere in the room. It started off as kind of a, oh, what's a good thing? Like a crystals in the wind sort of sound, but it starts to take a darker tone. There's maybe like a deep cello sort of echo, and you're not quite sure where you're hearing that music come from. It almost seems to be if it's coming from inside your head. You're not 100% sure about what's happening.
Hmm.
I would like. I'm going to make an attack. Oh my gosh.
Nice attack, no attack.
I got a 4. To defend yourself, mysticism, valor.
Ugh, that's not that great. Okay.
Well, you only got to beat a 4, so that's
Yeah. And I do.
okay. All right, you got it. Now I need to make it for my guys. Yeah, just trying to beat a 4. Okay. As you, all 3 of you, starting to get upset and angrier, hearing this music come from somewhere. It's like, wait, do you hear that? Thorn goes like, the morb. It's somewhere around here. We gotta stop. We gotta figure this out. Cash, as a Scintillian, gets incredibly pale as possible and makes a run for it as fast as he can. What do you two do? Gareth and Thorn.
Uh, I want to try to grab him before he can get away.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just literally just trying to not tackle him, but I want to grab him quick and pull him over so I can say something to him.
Okay. Well, it's gonna be a vigor check, right? If you're gonna grab him, vigor duel.
Bigger duel.
Yeah. So you'll be the aggressor here.
Okay. Got a 9er.
10. He slips your grip.
Okay.
He's
Coward.
hustling down the hallway. You can yell something after him if you want to.
At this point, no. Thorn. The sea chanty about the drunken Gortu. Like
Well, the Mariner's Canticle. Yeah. I know it.
no, skeptical. I know the harmony. Can you just sing the melody? Let's just try to be happy.
Okay. Yeah, I think I got it.
Okay.
Okay. So, what kind of check is that you're doing, do you think? To give good vibes.
I mean, we're singing, right? It's sort of like, I guess, charisma, like a panache, like court sort of thing.
Yes, I love that. Yes.
Let's do that.
All right, now Thorn is going to try and help with this.
Okay.
I'm just going to give you a +3 total to your roll.
Okay.
So Thorn understands what kind of danger you are in. Okay.
Does that add the 3 to it automatically? It doesn't look like it does. So it'd be 11. So 14 right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll spend a saga point to make it a 17.
Okay. All right. Let's see what I got here. Yeah, I don't have enough to even get there. Okay. And I would definitely spend the points on it. Hilarious. You together get close enough to remembering most of the words to the Mariner's Canticle. In the what was like kind of the low sawing of a cello, like major sound, turns into something lighter and lighter into maybe a fight that follows along doing it. From around the corner of one of the entertainment pods comes this little slurping little goop onto the floor with white kind of glitter in the middle of it as it's following along with your songs. You've now seen your very first morb, and you are terrified to not be happy.
Okay.
Okay,
We're gonna
Lud-
be happy though. We'll be
Ludwicka, Mr. Crystal. All right, you two were heading towards the honeymooners, is that right? To see Forest Hill and Glendale. All right, perfect. Yeah, you just head over to their sleeping quarters and you just like kind of knock on their door. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to hold the feather before we knock?
I'm not going to reveal we have it yet. Do you think we should?
Yeah. Wait, I'm just who has it, just in case we need to pull it out.
Oh,
I,
sure.
yeah.
I have it, and I have it because you don't really have anywhere to put it, do you?
I could tuck it in my sash, but otherwise I don't.
Your stash or your belt. Funny. Yes,
Okay.
I will tuck it in a pocket.
Okay. Who's gonna be doing the talking?
How about you
I
start, and then
will.
I'll be back up in case.
Sounds good.
All right. You announce your presence on the outside of the door. As one of them opens up the door, you can tell that this is Forestville because of the pink trumpets, which are these tiny little kind of pink. I mean, they look like little horns, you know. As she's just like, oh, hi, hello. Uh, she steps out into the hallway to talk with you. Like, can I help you?
Hello. Well, first of all, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. Uh,
Yeah, thank you. This is not exactly what we were hoping for. Uh-huh.
imagine that's not the case, but that's why we're here. We're hoping maybe you can help shed some light on part of the problem. Um, could you get your new partner out here too, please, or can we come in?
Uh, well, no, I think that they're resting right now. They don't feel very good. So, yeah, but I'd be more than happy to help you out
Hmm,
here.
what's wrong? What doesn't feel well?
Well, I just said it didn't feel well, and so I want to make sure, like, I'm gonna reach out to the infirmary here in a little bit just to make sure that they're okay.
I was just down there. I'd be happy to walk you there.
That's okay. We can help out. Is there something wrong? Can I help you with something?
Well, right now I want to do a inquiry, see if she's trying to keep me out of her room. Like, what is she hiding in there?
I don't know. What is she
Um,
hiding?
an inquiry empathy. Sorry, an inquiry panache inquiry or
Yeah,
a mysticism inquiry.
whichever one you think
Doesn't
works
matter
best
which.
narratively for your character. Like, what are you gonna
I'm gonna
do? What
do
are
a
you doing exactly?
mysticism inquiry
Okay.
I'm gonna,
to reach
well,
out to feel the truth. Is her husband actually not feeling well? Her partner? Her.
Okay. Hey, so what does that look like when
That's
you
the
try and
main
use
one.
what does that look like when you try and do mysticism inquiry? Is it like one of these jobbies, or is it like
um.
mind meld? What does it look like?
mm, That's a really good question. I think I kind of like expand a little bit as like my bacteria, and it just kind of like moves towards her a little bit, and then it like contracts again. Just kind of like suck in any knowledge that the outer bacteria can grab real quick and then share the collective consciousness.
Oh, yeah. Love it. Yeah, give me a roll. This will be an opposed
Uh,
roll for sure.
I'm going to use one saga point, make it an 11.
Okay. Ah, dang it. I am okay. What I mean, like, so yeah, you reach out using your mysticism, and you're just trying to figure out what she's hiding. You can't get exactly what she's trying to hide, right? Um,
But she's
but
definitely does not want me in her.
yes, the things that you've asked so far, here's what you know. You doubt there's anyone in that room.
Not that there's extra Eternals hiding in there, that there's nobody in there at all. Um, so we're trying to figure out exactly what's going on with this ship, and we've kind of got part of it fixed, but there's still some things we're figuring out. And while
Okay.
we were investigating, we found this, and I am going to pull out the feather. And we were wondering if it might belong to you or your partner.
What? Oh, uh, yeah. Yeah, that looks familiar. Yeah, 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 that belongs to my husband.
Hmm. I know you said he's not feeling well, but I would really love a chance to talk to him.
I don't
Um,
think that's a good idea. He might be infectious, and I'd hate for some say Scintillian to catch something, you know? Just like you
I was just
when
gonna,
you
I mean, you know what? Scintillian kind of thrive on infections. Um, so actually, that sounds really great. I would actually love to go visit.
and she's she's just like, I must insist.
Uh,
Well,
Mr. Crystal's gonna look meaningfully at his Scintillian friend
mhm,
and raise his eyebrows as if to say, "Now?"
give a little nod.
I'm gonna walk in the room. Yeah.
Okay. Um, she's just gonna be like, oh no. She's not going to stop you. Okay. As you physically push your way past her, she doesn't seem super strong. As you push your way into the room, and you're like, okay,
Can I do a quick touch as he does that, since I can communicate information that way, right? And just say, "Don't forget to look for molasses."
okay. It opens up into a little bit larger room than what you have. It's got a larger the bed. It's the honeymoon suite, right? There are various attachments for food and drink to be delivered directly into this room, which is amazing. Has a beautiful window over the port side to get the best view of the acid rings that you're slowly drifting into. Um, as yeah, it looks like a very lovely room in here. However, when you step in, what is the thing that tips you off that at least one of them, at least, isn't who they say they are?
Oh, it's the lab equipment. Yeah.
Hmm,
It's whatever you would have to use to like cure and prepare whatever their bodies produce into a useful agent, which
okay.
beakers and a little hot plate and the little titrating thing. Yeah, that's not a typical honeymooner thing. And I've never been married, but I'm pretty sure that's not what honeymoons are for.
As Horace Thill is just like, Oh, yeah, my husband insisted on bringing it. His hobbies. He's a chemist by trade, and so he's just always fiddling around with stuff. So
Yeah,
she just
I'll
kind of
look
she
at
just
it.
kind of shrugs her shoulders.
Yeah, I'll look at it. I'm not a sciencey person, but I'll give it a shot. So what is that? Lore wits? I'll get in there and sort
Yeah,
of peer into it to see if
sure.
I can figure out what's going on there.
Yeah, because you know what you're looking for. You honestly don't have to do a check. Okay.
Okay. Well, that's good
Yeah.
because I only had 2 dice. So yeah.
Yes, there is trace amounts of that poison that you were looking for still left over. It looks like they had tried to hide it, but you know exactly what you're looking for at this point too. So like the setup looks like they might be trying to do something else, but you're like, I don't know, I see what they did over here. All right. Yeah, definitely is the makeup of some of the poison.
Yep, I'll hand the beaker
And
over to Ludwicka.
we really need to speak to your husband. Where is he?
Uh, I I don't know. We had a fight. Um,
I'm
I
Did
just
sorry.
he
thought
go to
we
your ship?
what? What ship?
This is their ship. The ship underneath is their ship, right, Ludwicka? That's where we found the feather?
They're connected to it in some way.
Hmm. We know about your ship.
I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry.
Well, the feather was her husband's, and stuff is her husband's. What is your trade? What do you do for a living?
Oh, no, I just work in a nursery. Oh, I knew we were going to be oh God. We got into a fight, and he said he was going to have to go take care of that. Oh, what did he say? Um, oh, the holy man or something. There's a holy man on the ship or something he had a problem with. I don't know. I'm sorry.
When was this before or after the explosion?
Well, oh, we've just been kind of fighting the whole trip. He just left
Mm.
a little bit ago. Like you just missed him.
Hmm. Well,
Do you
can
think
you
he's
get
talking
some
about
rest?
Yogi?
That's what I was kind of thinking. We we are gonna go try to find your husband. You get some rest. Stay right here in your room. Then we know where we can come talk to you or
Okay.
keep you up to date on what we learn. I'm sorry, this has not been the honeymoon you imagine.
I'm so sorry. Thank you. Thank you.
Treat yourself to a yummy.
I'm gonna sprint out of the room to go to Yogi Indu's room.
Okay. You're gonna head to Yogi Indies. Ludwicka?
Will follow, but I will not sprint.
Okay, you
I
will not
will walk
sprint.
calmly, stoically.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. You're the last one to leave the room. Okay. I
Okay.
want you to give me one more of those mysticism inquiry checks.
Ooh.
I am going to be the aggressor, or that's
Oh, sorry, I rolled before you. I always forget that. Dang it.
yeah, that's okay. I'm going
Yeah,
to
what you rolled.
spend 2 tension points. For those following at home, I did get enough tension points to trigger the tension table, but I'm choosing not to trigger it to get rid of those. I'm saving those up because we're getting to very big plot points that I want to try and protect my NPCs if I can. I got a 17. No,
17.
15. I can't add. That's a 15.
Wait, where's the extra two come from? And there's no way for me to beat that. So I
Okay. All right.
won't spend
Perfect.
any saga points or anything.
Yep. As you just like, oh, this poor woman. That
Yeah, and actually there's like one last thing before I leave. Why are you protecting him? Why are you covering for him?
It's my
You know
husband.
he's doing something that he shouldn't be if you're protecting him.
I don't know what he's doing. He just has a temper sometimes.
Mm. Mhm.
Like I don't know. He used to be in the military, and he doesn't talk about those times that
Mhm.
much.
Understandable. The military witness, all kinds of stuff. Well,
Of
again, stay here, get some rest, and I will be
course.
back with an up.
Okay. All right, Gareth. You and Thorn are on your about sixth verse. You are getting thin on the words at this point. What is your next move here? So far, the Morb has stayed angelical.
Okay. Uh, I I'm gonna change the words of the song so that I can tell Thorn what to do. And I'm gonna make it rhyme and be in the same meter as the song.
Okay.
And I do that.
You want to try the role playing or do you want to roll for it? It's up to
I would
you.
like to see a role play, please.
Uh, no, I don't think I want to try it. No. If this was just like us around the table, maybe, but this goes out into the internet, so I'm not gonna try it.
All right,
I'd rather just roll to see.
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
make
that
you roll then.
good. I
I think
lost a
you're
little honor right there, but that's okay. Uh, Eric did. I still just do. I'm doing a charm panache.
yeah.
Should be more of a wits situation
Yep.
than a panache. What do you
Yep.
think?
I think wits that makes sense to me.
I'm gonna charm with my wits. So okay. Oh boy.
Ooh. You
Can't
gonna
see it.
spend any saga points at all?
Um. Yeah. I'm gonna spend 2 saga points to make it a 12.
Okay. Okay. I am going to spend an attention point. Um, all right. As you are giving Thorn directions, you can't nail that last rhyming couplet. And the Morb notices.
Couldn't find something to rhyme with pod. Damn it. Okay.
And because of this lyrical misstep, the Morb becomes just appalled. It's like, what? Why that, like that, just such a jarring, discordant note that you hit trying to make that leap of logic. You're trying to rhyme pod with pod, and it's like, what? No, no, not that.
I don't blame this more. That was stupid. Um, okay. As soon as I realize I do it, I look at it like, what's it do?
Its insides like a mini dust devil of the glitter you see within it, which is kind of a white, sparkly color, turns from white sparkles to red as a discordant reverb starts to, as it shudders and it starts to echo out of it. You were telling Thorn to do something. You were telling Thorn probably what to get the thing open, yeah.
Get the pod ready and just like play that, have that song be part of the entertainment, and just we'll transition so it's the pod's doing it, and we can lure it into that pod.
Okay. Well, things are going to change as it turns into the red and starts doing the infernal dirge. However, you know what I forgot to do? And I apologize for that. as the so the morbs are an incredibly fascinating species because they're both for good and for terror. Is that while it was singing along with you, give me a second. For some reason, I didn't have the core rules open that has the morb in it.
Me either.
Hmm. Yes. All right. Find morb. All right. You have the confidence status added onto your character right now.
Okay.
Okay. Now, as it turns to red, you're the discordant. It is going to create a different mental effect on you. Possibly. You can make a mysticism valor save versus my. I mean, I'm going to spend 2 tension points on it. I'm going to spend it all. 13.
All right. I can't beat it.
Okay. Because you were confident, you lose that condition. Okay. But you do not gain the new one this
Oh,
round.
sure.
Because this new condition nixes that one out. And if it continues on, as it starts to build more into a swell on it, as you start to hear Thorn put his hands over his ears, go like, no, 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 no. You have a turn for action. What do you want to do? Like you have the container there with you. The morb's right there. Like you've lured it very close. So it's within an
Yeah.
arm distance if you want it to be.
I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna dance it into the container. Like use my powers of dance and like do a move and like do like a jump and like it's so enthralled it's like knows the dance and it's gonna jump into the container.
Okay. Yeah,
That was a
I'm
really
into it.
horrible idea. Okay, let's try
Let's
it.
try it.
I'm pretty good dancing. Let's find out what happens. Oh boy. I'm just trying to do something entertaining for it. Like it doesn't. I don't think it would respond very well either way to like try and like grab it or punch it or something, right? Like it feeds off of like violence and negativity. So I'm trying to do something really positive. Like get it to hop into the goddamn container. So let's see if we can make it do it. Okay. Ooh, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I will spend 3 saga points to make it a 17.
Okay. 11, 15. I can get to 18. But I've been spending all my tension points. You got it. Tell me what this looks like.
There's a standard like line dance that you would do to the Mariner's Canticle. And it's like it's like the time warp probably where like you step to the right and then there's like a thing right there's like you have to do this and turn and then you do a big leap and I gotta go and I leap on like the side of the thing and it leaps and goes in the container and I slap the thing down.
Boom. Rivulets of sweat roll off of your forehead as you know how close you came to the whole crew being doomed from a single morb. Next round, if I had kept being in the Infernal, I was going to make a second one right at the time. And then it gets bigger and it gets the swell until you get a whole chorus of it. But good
Mm-hmm.
job as Thorn collapses on top of it, like make sure everything's locked down. As the zoologist, like, is everything safe? And like, yes, he gives a thumbs up, and he's like,
No problem.
okay. Now it is 8:45. We are coming down into the final throwdown. Do you wish to continue? We can't play next Sunday. We can do an emergency session some other time this week if we really, really, really want to. Or we can go to the final throwdown. It's up to you guys. What do you think? What do you have time for? I am fine also just pushing this off for another 2 weeks because I think we've done a really good job of showing all the different things that this system can do. And the storyline's being introduced, and we have one more thing that we need to review anyway, which I hope Rachel's been thinking a lot about. Because I think not one of us, but both of us forgot about something that I said earlier.
Yeah, I wrote myself a note and everything, but
Well, I think it's all right, though, to use it as kind of the end of the session wrap up description of what's happening here. Um,
I will say that I am not free for an emergency midweek session this week. But
oh, okay. Okay.
just for the
No,
record,
yeah,
I can do
good
like
to know.
Saturday instead of Sunday, but I can't do a weekday this time around.
Yeah. And I will actually be, no, actually, I can do it 2 Sundays from now. But that being said, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to put the finale 2 weeks from now?
That's fine with me. And we can go a little bit, like if we want to like recap and just talk about what we've done and rule stuff without more playing tonight. I think that's fine. That probably would take the amount of time left we need.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. So then, as the scenes end, as Thorn and Gareth Karr shut the door on the problem of the morb, we see a cinematic cutaway of Mr. Crystal thundering down the hallway towards Yogi Yindu's room as Ludwicka has just said her warnings and goodbyes to Forest Thill and is turning to head down the hallway herself. As we fade away, we draw back from the vessel that's still drifting through space towards the acid rings as the razor wings on the outside picking away at equipment and whatnot as more start to flock onto the ship as it drifts through the cold calluses of space. You pull further and further back through the rings past the planet of where Westport, where your goal is to end up, drawing past still further planets beyond that until you get to the new, the created, the something that was not here before. Planet shaped and unknown. Ludwicka, you were the one that had the psychic message relayed by Jinjin from the engineer room from Gunner seconds before this anomaly has appeared on the edge of your universe. How does it relate to your group into your vision?
Well, I think when I've had dreams about and had this vision multiple times in my life, recurring dream of this uh, death experience that unites the three of us. I think like playing in my head is always that's that um it's gonna get bumpy, hold on tight. That's always like playing in my head as it's occurring. I've never known what that had to do with anything, but hearing that and then having this anomaly open up makes me think that somehow this anomaly is connected to our vision. Um, yeah, because just like that is the soundtrack of the vision for me, has always been that voice telling me something's hold on to something, it's about to get bumpy. Hold on to something, it's about to get bumpy.
I,
So now that I've actually heard that happen when I'm awake, it is
it is
clear.
all three of yours covenant story that is being revealed here. The central theme is that it is bumpy, it is beginning. What does that mean, Mr. Crystal?
It means that things are going to have to change. Everything we took for granted is no longer certain.
In Gareth Karr, what did that mean to you?
I was always assuming and cataloging like different like planets that were red and like places that I knew were had that sort of a tint. And if this thing has been created and is new, it pretty much means everything that I had planned in my brain to try to prevent this or stop this doesn't matter because I can't prepare for what this new thing is going to be. I don't know what it is. It's scary.
And with that, we leave our heroes in the throes of doubt on their way to possibly stop an assassination on what they thought was the end of their score. This is supposed to be the easy part. Thanks, everyone. All right. Hey, good job, guys. I had a lot of fun tonight.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
So we got to use a lot of different things. I finally figured out the easiest and best way to introduce you guys' stories into the adventures in an easy way. Um, how did that feel? Let's start there. I think we only had Gareth Karr. Your story was introduced. Yours was the only one this session.
Hmm.
How did that feel?
Oh, good. Thank you for giving me some time. That's always nice. I have this, and other times we've done this. It seems like everybody else has had a lot to say about what it was going to be, like in just different versions of us playing games. If it was the rioters or whatever,
Yeah.
And or at least with mine, maybe I don't know. So just having a little bit more agency on my own, I thought was interesting, and also like more pressure too, and like in a good way. You know what I mean? Like, oh, there's a big thing. I like it when other people have other things to say about it too, and I like that it shouldn't just be like one person. Like it's kind of neat when everybody's thing gets kind of thrown out at it. But also from a storytelling point of view, I wanted to have like some information, but not all of it. And I don't know. I can imagine there'd be role players be like, oh, and here's the answer to everything. You know what I mean? Like if they wanted to, they'd be like, and now I know who the killer was. It was this guy, and I'm going to kill him. Like, so like trying to make sure that you're still like it's nuggets and you're closer to stuff without really giving up the whole thing. I think it's tough, and it depends who you're playing with, and you have to like know who you're playing with. But
yeah, I know that's a great point. On the character sheet, there's 5 slots for you to write your story on, right? And so I think I'm gonna go with like 5 at a time, and that'll finish up like this story arc. Doesn't mean that it's done. Like maybe I just want to talk about cash, and I just want to tell this whole story just about cash and how they're involved with your parents' death in some way, maybe. And like once you solve that part of it, you're like, okay, now you need a new untold story. It can still be the same one, but you've solved the cash part. Or
I like that.
some people are also going to be like, you know what? I think I'm done. I think I need a new untold story to go from. Like, yeah, awesome. Hopefully, by the time we're done with this untold story, hopefully we've been at gaming long enough that you're like, you know what? here's other stuff that I need to explore that I haven't even thought about yet.
Sure.
So everyone should have one thing done on their personal story at this point in time. Um, the only one who hasn't gotten to have the agency on their own story yet is going to be Rachel. So I think it's going to be interesting. She's going to do her own. The next time hers comes up, it's going to be just her story. But the next time your guys's comes up, it's going to be someone else telling it. So I think that's going to be interesting how other people are going to put their own twists on it. I'm curious though.
It helps make it what Eric was saying about only getting nuggets at a time, because like I don't have control over the whole story.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And I think that's a good thing, but I can see some people being mad that they don't have agency over their whole story. Like I only want to do a crossover once or twice, and the rest of it is, like 3 times it's yours, especially like the end part, right? But 2
Yeah.
other times, someone else has thrown in like, oh, hey, here's this. And that can always be explained in different ways. Like, no, it's just from one point of view or whatever, but it builds on these stories. And I love that part being thrown in this because that means I can run it to throw this out there from my point of view of how I think I want this to run is that the adventures that I put together for you guys can literally be anything. It doesn't matter, right? Now, the next series of adventures that we do for Honorbound, I have it set up as a campaign, like with a very strict, but we could just do jobs, random jobs that we think are fun while still telling these stories and then leading to now you got to deal with this anomaly that has to do with your vision somehow.
Yeah.
Right. So how did the system felt really good today, I think. How about you guys?
I think that's what too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of good yes and like improvisation, theory as far as like everyone really being like willing to take what the other team was throwing at them and like building on it instead of, poo-pooing it. Like it felt like we were moving forward with everything. There was never like we're getting like stalled on something and it was weirdness. It was like I was always moving forward, which always feels better, I think, when I'm playing a game.
Yep. It's interesting how Gareth Karr, for the most part, was just kind of off on his own, while the partnership and bonding of Ludwicka and Mr. Crystal, it seems to be like getting tighter as they're like becoming like the clue hounds, right? The detectives of the group.
Good cop, bad cop, like literally, right?
Yeah.
Like, like it's really working out.
Yeah, I think everyone had got their moment to shine to find the stuff they were doing. Now, for this sort of adventure, is this the sort of world that do you feel like you have enough autonomy for building the world that you want to be adventuring in? Like, is this what you want to be doing?
I like it that you seem pretty open to us just sort of like making up cultural things, right? And just sort of on the spot winging some of these things together. Now, I'm not taking good enough notes that I would be able to follow up well. So, I'm kind of leaning on this being a semi sort of one-shot series, right? Where we sort of do the series and we may not come back to it. So, I'm feeling free to just sort of insert stuff. But I think that you would be open, and all 4 of us would be open to that, even if this was an ongoing concern, right? So I appreciate that about all of you. But yeah, I like it that there's so much unknown, right? It's not as though it's like, well, these are wood elves, and these wood elves look like this, and here's 400 pages of lore that you got to work together, right? That it's just like, actually, am I made of minerals? I don't know. Like maybe it's probably in there somewhere. Whether right, like. So I like it that there's the space to sort of create what it is that we want it to be and how the relationships are even possible to be formed and what even communication looks like. And I think that's an element that's missing from a lot of other systems where everything is so the ruts in the road are so deep that it feels sometimes hard to just sort of create cultures and with the depth that this gives the ability to do. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Trying to figure out like what you want your character to be, you know?
Well, one piece I had missing is that I was looking for an opportunity to work in this sort of relationship leveling up. So I was looking
Yep.
for that chance with Ludwicka, but so it seemed like we had to go from one task to another. So I wasn't quite sure where that would work in, and I'm still not 100% clear on what it would be I'd need to roll a 9 on to level up that relationship. So I think
Yep.
that's just because I haven't done it yet. I think it'll be clear once we've done it once, but I was still a little vague on that.
I think I was kind of the same. Like I was kind of looking for that, but at the same time, like I felt like where we were in the mystery, like we kind of just had to keep the investigation going. But I feel like had it been one of like the earlier ones before all this stuff went down, we totally could have role played something and made that kind of role make sense. But
And
no,
that's
I
on
agree
me.
because I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I,
You're developing this. That's what
Well,
playtesting
well,
is
we,
for.
we are kind of going from scene to scene, right? Like there isn't a lot of room to like hang out and like have a conversation and build, sort of work through that because I'm literally sprinting down the hallway from the last scene. So, so
We're
I let it
investigating.
go.
Yeah, and we were like interrogating different people in the infirmary and like aware of what we were doing, but like we were talking to people, we couldn't really talk to each other. So
yeah, and I think that's a lot on me is that I generally, as a GM, do up tempo murder mystery action stuff. Like that's on me. I need to be better about letting the pauses stay there for you guys. Um, and maybe that's something I need to build in though, because the game is more about relationships. So that's something that I will think about that maybe I can force not only myself, but have like a mechanic in the game that allows that. Like maybe it's like when a tension table pops, um, maybe there's something in there somewhere. I'm not quite sure yet. I don't know. I could also spend more time just like, how does that make you feel? Do you want to talk about it? You know, whereas my natural tendency is like, oh God, morbs, you know.
I got a thing real quick. Uh, AI scares the crap out of me, and as a creator of things, I'm not a huge fan. But when you need a quick sea shanty that takes place in outer space, I put it in the chat. It's not horrible. The Mariner's Canticle, the Seafarer's Shanty, and it like kind of like it's not bad for the record. And if it was live, like if we, we're just literally that's the only time it needed to happen, and I needed a quick shanty, like literally somebody to write an entire shanty in a half second, like it's pretty good. All I did was the only prompt I gave it beyond the Mariner's Canticle was make it about space travel, and then it changed it, and it kind of is. So when you have a moment, take a look at what ChatGPT thinks of the old Canticle. But
kind of
I
awesome.
was prepared to sing if I had to.
Oh, the chorus. The chorus was really fun.
Mm-hmm. It's not horrible. It's pretty good. So
Whoa. Yeah, I hate AI. Like, I can't condone this at all, but
yeah.
that's pretty good. My goodness.
I would never want to be like part of something that was going to last beyond people sitting around a table for a moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's fine. That's a fun thing, but you can't put it in a book. You can't put it online. You know what I mean? Like
No.
it just to have something immediately it's cute, but I did not bring it up during the broadcast.
Practice this sea shanty, and before we hit record next time we play, we're gonna play it for you guys.
We can't because then. Oh, you mean before we record? That's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Before we hit record.
Right, that's fine. Or maybe we'll write a better one
Ooh, yeah, now we're
Yeah.
talking.
because we.
We
You
can.
still don't have a group name for you
Everybody.
guys' group if you want one. So, not that you need
The
one.
Mariner's Canticle.
Here's Canticle.
Well,
Mariner's Time Warp.
Time warp.
well, awesome.
It was a
Thank you, guys.
silly session too, though, Jerod. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of silliness in this session, and I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there was
little bit of
so
both.
much scope.
It's just so silly.
Yeah, I think there was so much scope in this adventure, which I think is another reason I had so much fun with it. Like the morb thing is truly terrifying if it happens, but you have to do some very lateral thinking to get that taken care of. Doing the mystery solving, that's hardcore mystery, and I enjoyed doing that part. So unfortunately, people are gonna have to wait a couple weeks till we get that solved. Um, yeah, yeah. So I need to start handing out experience points for you guys at some point in time. I've been keeping track of them here, but I haven't actually give them to you. Each one of you will be able to, at least if you want to do the minimum thing, raise one skill by a point. So, actually, let's do that real quick just to remind people of what that looks like. All right. All right. Ugh, what was that? I apologize.
So a skill. We're talking command, charm, crew, one of those.
Yeah. Yep. So let's talk about. Or maybe I'll just have to do it. First thing, we'll do it next time, is what I'll do. Have to remember everything. Experience points. I have too many versions of stuff. There it is. Okay. Did you do something bold?
Singing and dancing in the face of insanity.
Yeah, I did alter that, doing something bold, into doing something like it's your wow moment. Did you say or do something during the thing that was everyone was like, all right, that was fun. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Do something bold. You got it. Gareth Karr, Ludwicka, Mr. Crystal, did you think of anything during the adventure that particularly was like, that was neat. That was cool. Okay. How about did you further define your heritage, which that should be changed to lineage? Your species, did you do anything more with that? I feel like
Bacteria thrive on
yes,
infections and moldy bread.
yes, yep, that's one for sure. I feel like you did something too, Aaron, with the Iliad.
Yeah, the connecting with the harmonizing piece, right? And like the tying together of the harmonizing and the mysticism seems like something that would be a place to explore, right? If you wanted multiple Iliad in a scene, you could really, right? Like the Scintillians have this way of this sort of like information transfer thing that's really powerful for them. And it
Hmm.
seems as though it's a little more complicated for Iliad, right? The Scintillians just like they're billions of cultural elements all come together and connect all at once and then inform the whole. It seems
Yep.
as though there's this mysticism piece that could be fleshed out quite a bit. Like we
Yeah.
started there a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, I like that quite a bit. Did anyone further define their archetype as being the lover or the hero or the philosopher? Did anyone really jump into that? That seems to be the hardest thing for you guys. And I
I
don't
think
know.
Lover's really hard. Like I can see the concept of it, but it's really hard to like even in a full, I don't know, in any session where that can come up. I don't know. I think it has to be.
I encourage you to think of Lover more as an intimate, right? Like you really connected with this dude. right? Like in a pretty significant way. I mean, lover isn't the right word, but there was like a pretty deep personal connection that sort of spawned that
Uh,
I wouldn't undersell just because the word lover.
sure. I think that when I think of how I was approaching this was more like in that more of a chivalry and you know operatic kind of way,
Yeah.
where like you these love affairs, these moments of passion and things with with people, and it doesn't no I guess it doesn't have to be romantic, and I think that narrowing that scope a little bit, or um I don't know, it's it's different from what I imagined it originally, and I think it's okay that it's changed.
Yeah.
um if it's not lover, like I don't know, something about being open or optimistic, or you know what I mean, like it's something in there. He's certainly Gareth isn't a uh, pessimist, right? Like I think that he thinks about like the bigger thing that he can do that's gonna help, and how that sort of how do we relate that on like a one-on-one level? That's what lover should be, right? Like I don't know what that is.
Okay. Maybe that's something I need to figure out a little bit more. Like maybe the archetypes need to be toned down a little bit. Well, I want the archetypes to be central to like how you interact with the world, right? That's kind of your central personality, sort of thing. And philosopher is going to be kind of the hardest one, I think, to try and figure that out for, or not. Maybe it's just one that you're overthinking about something, or not, or maybe you just yeah. I think it's interesting. Okay, so the archetype one's
I,
going to stay there.
yeah, I'll throw in for my archetype. Thinking about sort of this guardian hero type, right? Like you mentioned some, in the original text that mentioned, Luke Skywalker is one, right? And Porthos is one, and Jane from Firefly, which I love, is
Yeah,
one, right? That there's this sort of like not like you know, dog chasing squirrels, right? But like where what I do to that's valuable is I find people in need, right? To the extent sometimes of overlooking the thing near me that needs attention, right? So that sort of like, oh, well, the yogi's in trouble? Well, time to go, right? There's probably all sorts of stuff that needs to happen here, but someone's in trouble, so I'm off, right? To a fault, right? And so how do you sort of embrace that flaw? So I'm trying to figure out how to do that effectively, right? Like sort of Don Quixote, right? Like I'm gonna
yeah,
go tilt at the windmill because it's a giant and it's threatening people. Even though if I just paused and was a little more careful with my thinking, it would not be. I'd know better.
yeah, yeah. No, I think that's really interesting. I think it's a really interesting take on it, and so I'll keep. I'll bring this up before we start playing next time, just see if there's anything more, if it's something I need to completely change. Then finally, did you participate? Everyone gets a point for that one. And then finally, did you further define your calling or your profession? Let's see, and we've got what a wayfinder, an operator, and what is Mr. Crystal? Um, oh, he's an inquisitor, which your character's actually gone through a bunch of different changes. So I know it's been harder for you to keep up on that one because of the playtesting. But I think I'm solidified. Your calling is going to change to something like the authority or like guardian sort of deal. Like that's um, yeah, and I think you're doing a real good job of portraying that because command is kind of changing into like kind of a status thing or authority, like for bounty hunters and stuff. So I think that works out pretty well. Okay, so on your characters, if you have at least 5 experience points, you can just cash those in right now to bump up one of your skills by one if you want to, or you can save them. You get like 20 to bump up an attribute. You can save a 10 to bump up a relationship. Um, And then there's going to be other ones. Like if you save up, you can buy the other once per adventure ability for your calling. You can do that. So there's other things you can buy if you don't want to spend it now. And yeah, that's how experience points work.
Before we wrap, I'd like to circle back to the philosopher part. Rachel, did you have a chance to sort of talk about what you were looking? I saw you unmuted and then remuted. I didn't know if you'd had a chance to sort of if there's something you wanted to
No,
add there.
I was thinking about something, and then I read the philosopher description again, and I was like, no, that doesn't count.
Well, is it something that I need to update on there? Like, is it too hard to work on, or
No, I think I need to think more about what it looks like. I think it's so broad and maybe more I guess I'd have to compare it to some of the other ones, but not even so much broad, but so abstract with this world that we're in. Like it's not really like a concrete, like it's talking about the weave and studying the weave and things. And so like what does that mean? Um and how does that play out in a random investigative scenario? Things like that. So I need to think through it a little more.
yeah? I think
And
the way
it's nice to have those inspirations there because honestly, like I hadn't even thought about it that way. And like Aaron was talking about how, oh, I think about Donkey, I think about Luke Skywalker, and I was like, oh, I hadn't even thought about like what characters would fall into this to help narrow that down. So
yeah, philosopher is interesting. Wayfinder is one of my favorite things. Like because you can do it like as like Wash from Firefly, which I just finished that series, but also people that are like trying to find stuff, seekers like of truth and knowledge or whatever, right?
Mhm.
Scientists. And then with philosopher, like Easy Rider. Like I know that's a ridiculous thing to bring up, but like Dennis Hopper and Easy Rider is a perfect like.
Drugs, Rachel. Do more drugs. You'll get it.
I mean, yeah, that would work.
We'll put it on our viewing list. We'll watch Easy Rider again. Well, I'll
Oh,
watch it again. I don't think Rachel's ever seen it.
yeah, that's
I might be
okay.
wrong.
you know.
No, it's something.
Yeah, I know I told Eric this, but I just finished up watching Andor while I've been so sick. It's,
Mm.
that's 100%. I think the reason I enjoyed watching it so much is that I could definitely see this group doing that Andor storyline. And like the big thing that's brought them together is that they are destined to start the rebellion. You know, like they don't like we're gonna do what, but you just start off with your own personal stories that start building towards to all of a sudden you're now central figures of like something way bigger and like you're just trying to steal stuff to get around like escape jail and like that's all you're trying to do but you've added to this much bigger story and like I was watching Andor I'm like this game can tell that story perfectly um which I thought was cool so it's worth checking out that was a good show
Mhm.
um
And the next season comes out in April, I think. So,
yeah
and the last season, for that matter.
yep. But yeah, thanks everyone. I had a real good time. It's gonna be 2 weeks before we get together again. Do you want to say anything to the people at all? Perfect. Bye everyone.
Good
Take
night.
care. Good night. Hi, Babel.